A point is the basic unit of geometry. It has no dimensions, and by that I mean there's no length, no width, no height. A point is simply a location. So graphically, a small dot made with a sharp pencil on a piece of paper is a physical representation of a point. A line or curve drawn on a piece of paper is an example of one-dimensional object. It has a length, but there's no width or height. So there's only one dimension being measured there. A representation of a one-dimensional object is a string, or maybe the corner of a room where two walls meet. A two-dimensional object has length and width, but no height. So they're basically flat shapes. A two-dimensional objects are those that can be drawn on a flat surface, such as the tangram pieces you see to the right there. A two-dimensional object has length and width, but again, no height or depth. A three-dimensional object occupies space, so it has length, width, and height. As examples, consider a box, a chair, or a can of soup. And if you want to continue on, four-dimensional objects and beyond are a concept studied in advanced mathematics, though it's beyond the scope of this class, and we won't be talking about it after this slide. But kind of think of how this goes. We go from 0 to 4 dimensions. If you start with 0 dimensions and you add length to it, you create a line. You have a line and you add width to it, you create a square. You add height to the square, you create a cube. And a fourth dimension to a cube creates what's called a tesseract. And you can see sort of a three-dimensional image of a four-dimensional shape. All right, so let's draw 3 examples of one-dimensional objects and 3 examples of two-dimensional objects. And they can be whatever. One-dimensional just has the length. So for one dimension, you can have something like this, some piece of string. That's another one that's one dimension. There's only you can find any location on that string by just mentioning the distance, the length. And there's another one. I mean, anything that involves lines, basically, or curves. 2 dimensions is basically like a fenced-in area. So it could look something like this, or maybe more of a circular shape to it. And it could be just more like of a blob shape. Those are all examples of what would be two-dimensional objects, so they have length and width to them. And this one I'm going to leave to you, but look around the room you are in. What are some examples of three-dimensional objects? And on your own, write down some examples. Maybe books or tables or chairs. Whatever you see.